Good morning, everybody. Okay, let's go ahead and look at our practice problems from the textbook yesterday. The first one on this page, called Ions and Octet Rule Continued, Experience 1. You were supposed to read this yesterday. Right down here at the bottom. So it says, draw the electron dot structures for the ions formed by nitrogen, oxygen, and fluorine atoms. Use a different colored pen or pencil for the electrons that the atoms gain to form these ions. So there's a clue here, right? So if the atoms gain electrons to form these ions, what type of ion is it going to form? So if an atom gains electrons, it becomes negative, resulting in an anion. Okay, so it's going to be negative and it's going to be an anion. So that is a clue to what the answers to our drawings are going to be. All right, so I made a note there to myself. So remember, you can always make notes like this as well. Let's start with nitrogen. Oops, I don't want that. Okay, so the first thing I do when I draw my Lewis dot structure is I write the symbol. Next, I look at the periodic table and figure out how many valence electrons do I have. So on nitrogen, it's in group 15 or group 5A, and so it has 5 valence electrons. Now, just while we're here, we can look at it. We realize oxygen is in group 16, so it's going to have 6 valence electrons, and fluorine is in group 17. It's going to have 7 valence electrons. All right, so let's keep that in our minds while we do these problems. So nitrogen has 5, and remember, we're going to spread them out first. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then double up. Nitrogen needs 3 more in order to form an octet. So let's go ahead and put those in blue. So these 3 electrons are floating around in space, or they're coming from another atom, right? We don't have to show that here. We're just showing that they added to nitrogen. Now this whole thing, we're going to put it in brackets just to say, okay, this is my whole final answer here. And this whole thing is now an anion. And it has 3 additional electrons, and those electrons are negatively charged. So it just got 3 negative charged particles that were extra. So remember, nitrogen has 6 valence electrons typically, and we just added 3 more electrons to it. So that means it's going to have 3 more electrons than protons. Now there's an imbalance. That's why that whole thing has a 3 minus charge. So I like to put these brackets here just to show, just to make it look like it's all together. And it helps later on in chemistry too. Okay, let's go ahead and do another one. Let's go back to red. Let's try oxygen. All right, oxygen has 6 valence electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It needs 2 additional ones to form its ion to have a full octet. So we're going to add 1, 2. Now this time I don't have to put the brackets here. I could, but I'll show you an example without the brackets. It has 2 additional electrons. So I'm going to go 2 minus. There's an anion. So either way you do this is totally fine. If you want to put the brackets, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But see, I just like to make it all one, look like it's all one. Another way to do it is to put a circle around it. So let's do that one for fluorine. Fluorine has 7 valence electrons already, so it only needs 1 more, which is great. 6, 7. Okay, so its additional electron will be in blue. This whole thing we can put in a circle to show it's a particle. It has a 2 minus charge. Boom. There we go. There's 3 ways to do it. Oops, made a mistake. This is 1. 1. 1 minus. Sorry about that. There we go.